this is the control room. It's supposed to be unlocked like that. We move it over, That makes this gap 3,450 or something, and these things over here. We have extra ego beams at 3,9.
I think it's easy. Oh, it's in. Yeah, but I don't try it. Sharp. Then I guess it's hard to go away.
What we're going to do, because these beams are too weak, we're going to use that timber that's outside there, that was meant for the floor. This is called the AZ8 Pavilion. It's part of the Architecture Z8 2010 Festival, which is happening in Newtown next week. And it's really about all the ways in which we can reimagine the city and exactly, as you say, remake our landscapes to you know, Joburg's a very wonderful city, but it's also an incredibly frustrating city, specifically in the way public space, I think, is continually being privatized. So we're looking at this particular pavilion. It's called Taking the Gap, and it is a demonstration of alternative ways of looking at low-cost housing. So in fact, what you're seeing in front of you is a double-story version of 2 affordable houses and 2 gap houses. We're building it with the Federation of the Urban Poor, who is everybody you see working on the site around you. The building is completely sponsored. It's going to function as a restaurant and as a student information center and an exhibition center during the conference next week. And after that, we're going to take it apart, and these guys are going to take it back to Tina Zonke, which is their informal settlement, and rebuild it as a permanent community center. It's been funded by about 19 sponsors. So it's really an experiment in alternative building materials, completely cement-free, building materials that are lightweight, that are insulated and can be handled by women. So that in fact women are the largest part of the people making this building.
So we're trying to bring ideas like 3 houses per plot, or with a double story, 5 houses per plot, into action, where we can generate more social cohesion, offer the people from the community work opportunities because they can build their own houses. So it's quite an interesting aspect of breaking new ground, I think they call it now. But you know, we're really trying to do it, and it's quite amazing how positive the reactions are. I mean, everybody, wow, sandbags, I can do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's very simple materials. We've got these 6 panels and all kinds of new technologies that we're going to use. These are floor panels.
Yeah, nice.
And they're so light that 2 ladies can just pick them up easily. And out of this you can actually build 2 or 3 story high buildings without any problems. That's fantastic how the building technology has developed, and it's sort of shocking how much backward housing in South Africa still is. So you take the side panel, has to be shorter. It's 450 minus 44. Okay, so the top panel is 450, but the side panel is 406.
I'm not leave to Atlanta Street. What is going to be an apple? Yes, this is. I'm going to get in my job.
At the moment, you're seeing it naked. Okay, we're not putting the plaster on, we're not putting the waterproofing on. It's not filled in, precisely because it is for the conference and it's an open air venue. But as a community centre, it becomes filled in, and this space over here becomes a community hall. This becomes the office. This becomes the kitchen, and this is a garden courtyard through the middle. So it's a real building. It's a real building, but here you're seeing it naked, so you can actually see how it's made and what it's made of.
The people that you have gathered to do the construction, where are they from? Who are they?
They are from Tusnovics informal settlement. They are all long-standing members of the Federation of the Urban Poor, which is an amazing nationwide organization that operates generally in informal settlements via a savings scheme that is run by women. And they are typically able, for example, what they do is they handle via a trust called the Uchani Trust. They get government subsidies for RDP housing, and they leverage those subsidies against enormous international loans, because as you probably know, the government can take up to 3 years to pay for stuff. So in order to avoid that, the trust manages the money, and typically because the community builds for themselves, they will build a 50 square meter house as opposed to what you normally get for an RDP subsidy, which is a sort of pathetic 40 square meters. So they're a very powerful community grassroots organization. And currently the land that they're living on in Tusnovics was bought by Federation, and it's been sold back to the Ekurhuleni Council, and is coming in online as hard housing. So this is really a live test experiment for them and for us of these building materials. They're being trained to build with them, so that going on they can build their houses. These are made of ordinary South African pine. The system here is zinc aluminium. It's quite a strong structural element. And then what you're seeing up here in terms of the floor panels, this is an amazing alternative to a concrete slab. It's much lighter. A woman can pick up a whole piece of floor. It's insulated. It's called a SIPS, an SIPS panel.
Hi, my name is Eitan Ash. I started a company in South Africa called SIPS Industries Africa. We're part of an international company with factories in Australia, Perth, and in the UK, Scotland. We've got a product called SIPS, structurally insulated panels, which are structural elements, which are panels themselves that can be used as structural blocks to build houses, buildings, hotels, multi-levels without any other structural elements, as the panels themselves are structural elements. It's a modern method of building used throughout the world, been around since the 1930s. Our company's been around for almost 12 years now. As you can see, we can build all different types of elements, but structure however you need. Fully insulated, so it's got more insulation than any other building system, and we're looking to take on the entire market in South Africa and the whole of Africa, from homes, lower cost, all the way up to multi-million, multi-level home structures and buildings. This would be the ground floor. Over here coming up to the top floor, we use in between our floors what they call something called I-joists, super joists, which fit in between the two levels. These are full structural elements used on a continual basis. From a point of view of the floor, we connect this to a foundation, which will be from a sole plate. The panels fit perfectly on the sole plate, at which point every panel has a male and a female. They clip together using glue and using special SIP nails. If you look inside of it, you see from an electrical and plumbing point of view, just come to the side. We can run our electrics inside the panel, as can see over here, or we run electrics on a surface bed and run a plasterboard on top. Depending on the home, the expense and how they want to do it, that's the way we do. We run a SIP roof. The beauty of a SIP roof is you don't need any trusses at all, so therefore you get a full internal void for free on the building that you build. In turn, you can see where the foam is on top over here. This is the polyurethane, which creates the insulation. We put our roof tiles directly on top of our roof, and then we get a full system of full building system and structure from floor all the way up to multi-level.
In terms of cost effectiveness, in relation to the other,
so cost effectively from an upmarket building, we're about 40% cheaper. As we get down to the lower market of building, we become more and more in line. So when it comes down to things like RDP, where there's very little money in it to begin with, we can build RDP no problem. In upmarket and high-end volume, we'll end up being about 40% cheaper on the build. As you can see also up here, you can use a lot of conventional building with us. So if you don't want to use a SIP roof, you can do lightweight steel trusses with tiles, etc. So it opens us up to all forms of building, conventional, non-conventional, however you want. From a point of reliability, we've been tested throughout Agrimar. We've had fire tests, we have water tests, we have structural tests. As I say, it's a fully reliable system. It's been used. The first house ever built was in 1932. It's still available in the US. So it's a very, very well used and structurally strong, water resistant and obviously fire resistant product to be used throughout the world within all forms of building.
And then system here, I think is going to benefit much to the community, and especially if ever we can win those constructions or build the RDPs. It's warm during winter, and it's cold during summer. So this thing, I'm really impressed as a new system in South Africa.
How did you know about this, and who taught you?
Actually, this thing is start from France, from 1860s. There, usually was used by the soldiers for defending themselves for the wars or the battles. But now we take it as we find this is going to benefit more people, especially to South African. They're going to live in a great atmospheres. Especially as I mentioned, this during winter, it's hot, and during summer, it's cold. Then it's warm and it's beautiful, and even this the length of the wall, it's bigger than the bricks. So I prefer this system, as it must be used if ever the government approve that. So we really need the government to approve, and let's use it to build the RDPs for the communities.
Are you gonna build your own house out of this?
Actually, if ever they allowed me to use this, I'll use, because we work as a community. This thing we take this thing to our own community, Tinasonke. And Tinasonke, it's something that it's federations. As you saw my t-shirt. My t-shirt, it's federation, it's fed up. We are non-government, and we're trying to do our things, and in a good way. That's why we introduced the new system of building the houses.
What we're trying is to implement new building strategies. So we involve the local community, try to skill them that they can build their RDP houses by themselves. That's the basic idea. We're implementing new working materials such as straw and clay. So that's quite old building materials, and we just try to build them in a new context. Advantages of the technology is on one hand that it's widely available, so you get it almost everywhere in South Africa. The other thing is you don't need a lot of tools, so it's very easy to copy it, and you don't have to have a first-time investment. And another advantage about this that you can build with the materials surrounding you, which is a very important factor, because transport is expensive, concrete is expensive. So we're trying to get away from the dependency of companies and start to encouraging the community to, I don't know, do something by themselves. It's, you just need to make the surface rainproof, but that's way less cement for plastering a house than, for example, making it from bricks. And the other thing is, when you're dependent on bricks, you're also dependent on the cement industry. And in this case, you have very good insulating materials. It has accumulating advantages as well as insulating advantages. You can use it as well as walling material as for insulating the roof. And it's quite easy done. It's just mixing straw and clay, let it rest for a day, and then you ram it in a framework. So you actually can use the normal grass, which is almost everywhere in South Africa, and you just mix it with the material you get out of the foundation. So it's, I don't know, that's a kind of a logical fact. And it's something people used for thousands of years, and now it's kind of forgotten. So we try to I don't know, give this old knowledge a new chance.
Where was it used?
It's actually, this precise building technology is used in northern Germany, and they used it for framework housing. But it's perfect for the South African climate. It's almost for free. It's just the transport of the clay and labor.
If you're talking about human settlements, and particularly the breaking new ground strategy that human settlements is trying to get off the ground, what we're looking at, I mean, I'm a huge critic of RDP, what you currently see. Matchboxes on the veldt, no jobs, no transport, no hope for the future, no urban quality. We are exponents of the belief that just because something can be done relatively cheaply, it does not have to be either ugly or oppressive. And in my opinion, what's happening with current RDP is worse than apartheid. So what we're really looking at doing is ways of building which impart skills to the community. We leave them with businesses behind. So they can go on and actually start a business, building houses in their community, finishing houses, putting in the plumbing, putting in the electrical, doing the solar. It's really it's what we call community forming. It's really an attempt to both materially and spatially. I mean, this is a very exciting space. It's not a matchbox, and houses don't have to be matchboxes. So really, it's about forming life, forming a future healthy society.